Alright, so I'm sure you guys have probably noticed in a couple of days' time we're getting a brand new box, and the community's been going absolutely crazy on the combos they've been making for these brand new cards. There are some downright bizarre and insane combos using these brand new cards that I thought, rather than just keeping to myself, I just had to show you, as it's getting me very excited for this brand new box, and I'm hoping by showing you these combos, you'll be just as excited as I am. So let's check them out. Now, just a reminder before we get into these combos, obviously, if you want to see me playing around with these brand new cards or making deck lists and stuff using all this brand new stuff, remember to like this video and consider subscribing to the channel down below. That way you don't miss out when I make a billion different videos based around each of these individual art types, so you can see some optimal deck lists and stuff once all the new cards actually release into the game. Alright, so let's get into these combos. Now, obviously, I didn't make all these combos myself, so I haven't done a super amount of, proofreading to make sure they all absolutely 100% work. So there's some mistakes in this video. I'm sorry about that. I haven't didn't super proofread every single combo in here, and I don't fully understand every single card in here just yet, as they're all brand new to me, so just keep that in mind. These are all just sort of proof of concept sort of combos, not necessarily 100% the most optimal ones, and maybe some of them aren't fully just working properly. I might have made some mistakes here, or they've made some mistakes here, or whatever else. Alright, so let's get into it. So this one is a absolutely insane combo, probably the most insane combo of the bunch of them. And if you've played Master Duel before, it looks very reminiscent of a certain reptile combo that happens in Master Duel, so you're going to enjoy this one if you're not used to this art type. Alright, so starting off, all you need is a Nunu plus any reptile monster. Doesn't matter which, just has to be a reptile monster. Preferably you want your main boss monster, which we'll talk about why at the end, but yeah, let's get into it. Alright, so sending your Nunu to send a copy of your Zoar to the graveyard. Zoar can then discard that one reptile in hand, or add itself back to hand. Now you have no monsters on field, this card can special summon itself. Normal summon, that is 2 level 4s. And the 2 level 4s make your King of the Feral Imps, which can search for reptiles. Grabbing your, however you pronounce this card's name. Alright, sending him and sending a card to graveyard. Sending your Cursey, or how you pronounce this card. Tribute the reptile on field, summon himself to the field, and he can special summon back a card from grave. Bring back your dude here. He can search for your Water Lily. And now Water Lily can send a reptile to grave, and because you now have 5 different reptile names in graveyard, you can special summon one of those monsters back, giving yourself a tuner monster. And here's where things look really strange. These two are now going to become a copy of your Geomathmic, whatever his name is, Magma. And then these two are now going to become your Phantasmal Lord Ooga Booga, who's just going to give everybody a shit ton of tokens, which is pretty important because the tokens happen to have 0 attack, which is a very important number for Reptile. Alright, these two are going to become your Reaperdocus. Reaperdocus is going to turn everything into a reptile, or turn the thing into a reptile here. So you can go into your Link Summon, grabbing your Echidna over here. Echidna is going to search for 2 monsters. Well, sorry, 3 monsters, because it's actually 3 tokens here with 0 attack. Because this card searches cards based on monsters with 0 attack your opponent has. So searching for 3 separate monsters. Alright, now you can special summon this card to the field, and because your opponent controls a 0 attack monster, you can summon the tuner as well. Then from here, these two are going to become a copy of your Reptilian Hydra, which can now destroy all these tokens and draw a card for each of them. So drawing 3 different cards. And there you go. From just that 1 reptile and 1 discard, you've ended on a hand of, what, 4, 5, 6 cards? And obviously all the cards on field. So ideally, at this point, you'll want to summon out a copy of your Overlord by tributing your 3 monsters on field, which is why at the start of the turn, if you can discard this card, you're going to want to discard it. But obviously, once you draw those 3 cards, the chance of you not opening a Snake Rain in these cards is, very low. And if you open Snake Rain, you can activate it now to send your boss monster here to the graveyard, activate your boss monster effect in graveyard, tributing all 3 of these monsters, putting them on the field, and then you have the quick effect, remove every single monster on the field, which is an insane effect to have during your opponent's turn, on top of all the back row you're probably going to have as well. So that's ideally what you want to end on, but for this example combo, I believe we just ended on the card we discarded, which is going to be your King, which is also a nice little just hand rip for your opponent, or you can end on your Queen as well, which is a way to stop your opponent from summoning stuff from the graveyard, otherwise they lose cards on the field. So definitely some options for this end field, but that's just an example replay of just how insane this archetype can be. Absolutely is incredibly insane. Not the most... It's a pretty easy end field to... or pretty easy combo to disrupt if you disrupt it early, so it might not be a meta-relevant combo, but for ladder-wise, it's pretty insane. I wouldn't be surprised if some meta-relevant builds come out of this archetype, especially considering how insane Snake Rain is as a card, so looks pretty good. Anyway, on to combo number 2. This one's going to be not as exciting. This one's going to be for Goki, and this is just going to be a very simple combo, basically continuing on from just the standard Goki combos you do already, but ending on the Link 2 monster as well. So this is technically a 3-card combo, but not really, as it's super generic. You just need your Goki Super X, then 2 other Goki monsters, doesn't matter which, and there's going to be plenty of times when playing this deck list, you're going to open this hand. It's just any 2 Gokis and your Super X, and you have this combo, so let's check it out. Alright, so it's going to start off looking very similar to just a standard Goki combo, because that's essentially what it is, until we actually extend on top of it. Alright, so summon your Super X, summon your Cobra. These 2 become your brand new Goki Heal Ogre. Alright, searching 2 cards from the deck, grabbing your Headbat, and grabbing another Goki. Now we can use the Headbat to discard a card from hand, discarding your Reciproco, special summoning to the field, and of course making a Link 3. This gives you a search from the deck, grabbing your Rematch, using your extra normal summon from your boss monster to summon out your Octo Stretch. Then we can use your Rematch to summon 2 cards back from graveyard. Alright, these 2 becoming a copy of your Goki the Master Ogre, which is now set up for the negates because you've got your Goki to blow the Link arrow ready to return to hand. And finally searching for a copy of your face turn to use on your Reciproco over here. So then summon back your Goki Heal Ogre. And because we haven't used the Reciprocos or Riscorpio's effect yet, I'm probably butchering the shit out of this card's name, and chat's gonna, or the comment section's gonna be really annoyed at me for it. But searching for a copy of your Super X for the following turn, and that is basically going to be your end field. You've entered on a copy of your Goki Master Ogre with your return to hand to negate one of your opponent's effects. You entered on your Super X, which is going to have a Twist Cobra in hand as well, so you have 2 cards for the following turn. And we've now entered on a Goki Heal Ogre directly in front of the extra monster zone. And this card is really good at locking your opponent out of using that zone, because as a quick effect, you can negate the activation. If you do, destroy it for any monster that is directly in front of it. So putting this in front of the extra monster zone means if your opponent wants to go into any sort of Link monster, whether that be like a Mayakashi player or a Shiranui player, all these archetypes that are actually going into their extra monster zone very frequently for various different Link monsters like Evil Twin or any sort of Link archetype, they basically can't do so now, as if they use that extra monster zone and use an effect in there, your Goki Heal Ogre can negate it and destroy it. So, on top of having 1 negate, you're having a card on field that just locks your opponent out using their extra monster zone. So, and plenty of follow-up as well, like I said. So, a nice little end field. Not going to be able to do this every duel though, as obviously you need 3 Gokis, which is not the most common hand, but does happen fairly regularly. So, just a nice little thing to keep in mind now, or a nice little way to utilize this brand new card. Alright, on to our next combo, Gladiator Beast. So, when I saw these cards, the new Link monsters of this archetype, I kind of glossed over just how important a specific one of them is, because one of the Link monsters can just search for your spell and trap cards. I kind of didn't think about it from the searching trap cards perspective. This deck can actually set up some really solid turn 1s now. Now, this is a very, very idealistic combo. You're not going to open this sort of opening hand very often, as you're going to need things like Unexpected Die, your Rabbit, and one of your Gladiator Beast. It's a fairly unrealistic opening hand, but I just wanted to show off some of the cool stuff you can now set up with this deck list. Even if most of the time you're only going to be setting up maybe 1 disruption, it's a lot better than what the deck was previously doing, so let's check it out. Alright, so first and foremost, revealing the Gladiator Beast. This puts your rejection onto the field, which makes your cards basically untargetable, and when you summon a Gladiator Beast or special summon a Gladiator Beast, you can summon another one from the deck list. So activating your die, summoning out your Gladiator Beast Anvil. Alright, this special summons out your Vespa, how do you pronounce this card's name, to the field? Alright, these two cards become your Link Monster, your Test Panther. You can now search for your War Chariot, which is obviously a monster negate. You can also search for the trap card that removes two of your opponent's monsters as well. And if you have War Chariot, you're probably going to search for that trap card. So you're probably playing both of them. Alright, so normal summoning your Rescue Rabbit, because you haven't normaled yet. These two cards become your two little Gladiator Beasts here. Alright, tributing one to special summon out your Darius to the field. Oh, not tributing, right? Shuffling back into the deck. Alright, special summoning back from graveyard, and these three monsters can now become your big boss monster, your Dominatus, who I believe is a monster negate. Yeah, monster negate. Alright, before setting the trap card and ending the turn. Actually, you didn't even need this last Gladiator Beast. So all you needed was a Rescue Rabbit and your Unexpected Die, and you can now end on this end field, which is a pretty insane end field. But like I mentioned, it's probably a little bit idealistic to open those two cards in particular, but even just opening one of them, you can just end on your Test Panther and end on a Monster Negate. So this deck list is looking a hell of a lot better than it did. Just ending on one Monster Negate and potentially extra back row in hand or whatever you've got does look pretty good. So hopefully this deck is a lot stronger than the initial impressions were for it, at least from me. So I'm excited to play this deck now. Hopefully it'll be fun. Alright. I think you need the Gladiator Beast in hand for the negate. I think it needs to discard for it, I believe, or something. Either way, I can't bother reading it, but I'm pretty sure it needs a discard, actually, or something. Anyway, moving on. Alright, so I've showed this replay a bunch of times now on stream, so you might have seen this one before. This is one I've created, and it's looking like probably the most ultimate way, actually, even though I just sort of roughly put it together, which is kind of crazy. But anyway, this is the brand new TG combo that is a one-card combo using a singular TG monster that is level 3 or lower. Doesn't matter which, because you just search for the other ones during the combo anyway, so a singular TG lower than level 3 can do this combo. Also, ignore this Ice Dragon's Prison. It should probably be like I don't know, Crackdown, or not even a Crackdown, a Compulse or something, just because the skill locks you out of using this, so just ignore this, pretend it's any other tech card, doesn't matter which. Alright, so activating the using the skill first to reveal the Warwolf in hand, to search for your limiter removal. Limiter removal going to be discarding, searching for 2 TGs, grabbing the Screw Serpent, and a level 1, grabbing the Raptor. Alright, now you can normal summon the Raptor, special summoning the the boosted Raptor, because you have the Serpent on the field. These two become your level 5. Level 5, of course, adding back that level 4 from the graveyard, and then summoning it to the field as well. This then revives the level 1. Alright, these two cards become a copy of your brand new monster, your Trident launcher that's been errated for Duel Links, so now it can summon a card from hand, deck, and from graveyard. Alright, summoning your level 5. So, shut up, Siri, I'm trying to record here. Alright, summoning your level 3, summoning your level 5, and summoning your level 2. These two become your TG Power Gladiator. Activating the second effect of your skill to put the Dragonfly on the field. Not using the effect here, that was a bit of an oopsie. These two cards become your Shooting Star Dragon TGEX. And we're not going to leave him on the field though, we're going to swap him out for the 2 resources we used to make him. And all these cards become your Halberd. Alright, and ending on that. So you've ended on from just one singular card, a TG Halberd Cannon, a card that makes the TG Halberd Cannon completely untargetable to things like Book of Moon, Chalices, or any sort of like targeted effects like that. 2 lots of back row, and if your opponent does manage to remove this Halberd Cannon, it has a nice little floating effect down here to then summon out a copy of your big gigantic boss monster straight back from the graveyard, which is pretty insane considering just this card's effects on its own aren't that good turn 1, but just summoning it to the field as like a floating target is pretty incredible considering its stat line and the effects it has got, where it just makes it really hard for your opponent to target it. And of course this thing has the special summon negate as well on it, so overall from just one singular card, an insane end field. And does also mean, by the way, TG is looking like a very, very free-to-play deck list. You've of course got the pickup box, which gives you most of the TG cards already, which is fantastic. And then from the brand new box, all you need for this combo is a single copy of this card, which I believe was a SR maybe, or a rare, just one copy of it. And you only need one copy of Limit Removal, although it's an ultra rare, you only need one copy of it, because the skill surges for it, and then that's basically it. So if you want to build this deck list, it's going to be, oh yeah, and of course you need a copy of your You don't necessarily need a copy of this, but you're probably going to want one. So 1 copy of this, 1 copy of this, and 1 copy of your Trident Launcher, plus the pickup box, and you have the entirety of this deck list. So if you're looking for a free-to-play option, this is probably going to be it. 1 rotation from the new box, you'll use your pickup box, and you have this entire archetype. Absolutely insane. Alright, moving on to our next one. This is going to be... Did I skip one? I think I just skipped one. Might have just double-clicked there. I did. Okay, so now we're on to Synchron. Alright, so this one I haven't watched a whole ton of, so I'm more going to be learning the combo myself as I'm watching it. This was created by Mr. Yakuta in my Discord. Mr. Yak. Alright, so I actually think have been shouting out the people who are making the replays. So the first one was by Our City, and I've kind of forgotten who the other ones were. Sorry if I've used your replay in this video and haven't shouted you out. I did have the names on screen, so yeah, I've been covering the names actually. I am so sorry. Yeah, my bad if I've used your replay in this video and haven't shouted you out. That's completely my bad. Unlucky. Alright. So starting us off, we're going to need a Junk Synchron and your Mono Synchron. Alright. So to use the skill, you have your copy of your Starlight Junction on the field, and you're going to put a converter in the graveyard just via your skill. Alright, but you didn't just start this thing with the deck. You didn't just start with this card in the deck because, yeah, the skill takes it from the deck. It didn't just put it on the field from out of nowhere. Alright, normal summoning your Junk Synchron, reviving your level 2, activating your field spell, putting this card on the field, I assume via the Junction, which contribute your Junk Synchron to summon your Wheel Synchron straight from the deck. Alright. Wheel Synchron special summons the Mono from hand. Mono treats Converter as a level 1 for a Synchro summon. Alright, thank you, Yak, for the explanation. Thank God someone's typing it down for me. Summons out your Formula Synchron, which gives you a card draw. Reviving back. Wheel is treated as a non-tuner for a Synchro summon, so you can go into a copy of your Stardust Dragon. These two become a copy of your Shooting Star EX, which can now be... Activate your second part of the skill to put the Dragonfly on the field from outside of the deck. Tributes this off to bring back the same resources you just used. And then these 3 monsters you can turn into a copy of your Shooting Quasar Dragon, or his name is. Your Shooting Quasar Dragon. Alright. So that's the turn 1 way to summon out your Quasar. Now keep in mind, you probably want to summon the Quasar during your opponent's turn, probably using the Formula Synchron, because the field spell has a nice little removal effect that when you do when your opponent summons, or when you do a special summon, yeah, if you Synchro summon during your opponent's turn, you can use this thing's effect to shuffle 1 card on the field into the deck. So target one of your opponent's cards, return it into the deck. So ideally, you want to Synchro summon during the opponent's turn using the Formula Synchron to go into this big Shooting Star crazy Quasar Dragon or whatever, which is just a simple negate, I believe. I think it's an Omni Negate, which is pretty insane, but that's pretty decent. Unfortunately, it is sort of a 2-card combo, so it's not going to happen every single game, but you do have a shit ton of searches in this deck list. I believe there's the 2 tuning searching cards. I've got their names. You got like your tuning, and then you've got your over tuning or something. I forgot what its name is, but either way, there's plenty of searches in this deck list, so opening this hand shouldn't be too hard, and it does end on a pretty insane turn 1. And going second, you can probably summon out some cool stuff with this deck. Of all the decks on here, I'm not super convinced on Synchron itself, just because the locks for it are kind of a little bit weak, and because of just needing a 2-card combo for like ending on just a simple Monster Negate or simple Omni Negate, it means you don't have many tech cards in here, which can feel pretty bad. I'm hoping it's going to be good. I'm hoping this is going to be playable. It does look pretty fun. It's definitely going to be alright on the ladder, but tournament-wise, or at least higher sort of ranking-wise, I'm not super convinced on this deck, but I'm hoping it's going to be alright. I'm hoping I'm going to completely eat my words on this one. Alright, and final replay, we have your Sky Striker. Alright, so this replay isn't necessarily sort of a specific combo sort of replay. It's just showing off some of the combos you can do in Sky Striker with just basically just a test hand. You're basically going to be using your Area 0 and your multi-roll. It's going to be showing off basically how you can search for your main monster if you don't open it, as well as having a really cool combo at the end of the turn to show off just the cool stuff you can do with Sky Striker, for you guys that haven't seen it before. Alright, so activating your multi-roll, putting your field spell on field. Then we're going to go, I believe, we're not in the end phase just yet. We're going to use your multi-roll to pop the field spell after using the field spell's effect to send a card to the graveyard. Excavating 3 different cards, adding a Sky Striker to hand. Alright. Popping the field spell, summoning your Ray to the field. Your Ray is going to quick effect, swap itself over for a copy of your Shinzuku. Alright, now we go to the end phase, activating your Shinzuku's effect to search for a card. Then we can activate the Widow Anchor on your own Shinzuku, which triggers the effect of the multi-roll to then put that Widow Anchor on the field. And that is going to be your end field. So basically just a cool different way to be able to get out to your monster if you don't open it, your Ray, and also be able to get a hold of your Widow Anchor and set it, even if you don't open it as well. So, at very worst, this deck can quite easily end on a monster negate just by that little end phase combo you just saw there. So, Sky Striker's looking okay, but it's really hard to determine just how good this archetype's going to be, considering how different it's going to have to play compared to the Master Duel variation of the deck list, but I definitely have high hopes for it, and hopefully, just from this little replay alone, you can see some of the cool stuff you can already do with the deck list. And yeah, it's looking pretty good, especially if you're going second. There are some very good going second cards in Sky Striker. Alright, that's going to do it for today's little replays. Hope you guys enjoyed them. If you didn't, leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I think I might start doing these little combo replay things before new box releases, just in the future. If this sort of does well and people are enjoying it, I'll definitely consider doing more of these in the future, so yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, subscribe, and yeah, can't wait for this new stuff to come out. Hope you guys are. Hopefully this video inspired you a bit to get a bit more hype up around this new box. I did see a lot of downer comments about it, so yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you see you in the next one. Laters.